Well, hi guys, so I'm just going to shut the door a minute. I'm here with Robert, he's behind me in his car. But I've got the A1 again today. If you can see that. Got the A1. I've got my 100-400 lens on and his f1.4 converter. He's just stuck my 2x converter on his lens. But basically what's happening is, I don't know if you can see this. Come on a minute. Basically, yeah, it's doing it now. There's something wrong with this converter. Don't know if you can hear that. The lens is coming up with the aperture blades and everything are going crazy randomly. 1 minute is fine, next minute it's literally not working at all. Next minute it's saying lens isn't compatible. So something we definitely think is wrong with the 1.4 converter. This is my lens and it's doing exactly the same as it does on his. We tried it on my A7R4 this morning as well. Basically he's got the same 100-400 G Master lens, but obviously he's got two A1s actually, and basically it was causing him trouble. And I said, well, why don't you pop down and we can try my lens with the converter on my camera as well as yours, and it's doing exactly the same. So obviously we've narrowed it down to being a converter, but it's just bizarre. It works with his 200-600 absolutely fine. So we don't know if there's a bit of a communication issue between the cameras and this lens versus f1.4. Sorry, not f1.4, the 1.4 converter. So if you guys out there have got a 1.4 converter, have you had any issues with the A1 or A7R4 and the 100-400 G Master? Let us know. Anyway, I'm going to go out and snap away with this. I'm going to try and get some shots with it, with the converter on, but it's probably going to come straight off and basically stick my lens back on and take a few pictures and see what's actually happening. So anyway, I just thought I'd show that. I just thought I'd come out of the wind. It's quite a breezy day today. We've been at Bodiam Castle this morning, trying to capture some fish, jumping out of the water, but that didn't go all that well, even though they were quite active. You can't tell where they're going to jump. A lot of it's just pure luck and reaction speed. So other than that, let's go and play with this A1 again. It'd be quite nice to have another play with it and see what I can capture. There is a load of birds flying about, all different types, including, I think it's a red kite. I've already snapped a shot at once, but he's about somewhere over that way. So Robert's got the 2x, can't speak, the 2x converter on his, so he's running at 100-400 plus 2x, so 800 f11. It's quite bright, so it's absolutely fine. So that'd be interesting to see how the autofocus works on that, on the A1. The A7R4, it works really well, and I was really pleased with that. So it was going to work just as well, if not better, than the A7R4. So anyway, let's go and play.
Sometimes it'll take a while for it to say not seeing the lens.
Well, at the moment it's showing. So you can see there, no f-stop at all. Showing, and then you get that when you push any of the buttons to do with focusing. Lens is not attached correctly, so it's got to be a connection issue.
Yeah,
that's weird how it's working on your
2
to 600. It's really bizarre. But this is my lens; it's not your lens. Your lens is there.
Yeah.
With my 2x, and that's working perfectly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got issues. Sony being a nightmare again, but it'd be interesting to see what they say eventually. But I'll just send it back and there he is. So now I'm stuck on the 2x converter back on my lens. Robert's had a play with it. As you can see, it focuses, be nice camera. There you go, we're at f11, which is what your minimum is on the, or your fastest on the 2x on the 100-400. Working fine. So should focus hopefully. Oh, good. But yeah, so let's try and get some pictures with it. Yeah, plenty of old cormorants. Like that. So here's a few pictures I took with the A1 while I was there with Robert, just having a play. with the 2x converter on, works actually really well, so I was quite impressed with that. Just really bizarre that his 1.4 converter works absolutely perfectly on the 200 to 600 G lens, but put it onto both of our 100 to 400 G master lenses and it just won't work. As you could see, it was basically saying the lens isn't fitted correctly. It wasn't showing the f-stops or anything like that. It was absolutely bizarre. It would show for about half a second. It would say, you know, F9 or whatever, but it would just disappear again, and you'd be like, right, I can't even focus. It, you know, as soon as you push the focus button, the lens isn't fitted correctly, or it might let you do one shot and then it'll just pack. You know, it won't do it anymore. So, big time problem, especially when those things are not cheap. They are £500 per converter. So I bought the 2x just to try originally, and I thought if it doesn't give me sharp shots from it or anything like that, I will send it back and get a 1.4 converter. For me, if you've seen the videos before with the 200 to 600 issues with the A7R4, I eventually went for the 100 to 400 G Master, and for me personally it works perfectly because it fits in my bag better. It's lighter, it's smaller, and also I like having the 100 range up to 400, but obviously now I've got the 2x converter as well. I can stick it from 200 to 800. Yes, you're at f11 at its fastest at 800mm, but it works very well. The autofocus works very well with it, and I'm very, very impressed actually how sharp the images are, especially off the A7R4. So no real drama. As you can see here, these shots are absolutely fine. You know, and you know, yep, obviously a prime's going to be sharper, obviously like the 600 f4 or something like that. Possibly even the 200 600 without a converter on might be very, very slightly sharper than having a 2x on the 100 or 400, but it's still giving very good shots, so I'm not bothered about that. You know, end of the day, this is absolutely fine for me. You know, I mean, obviously there's a shot on the A1, not the A7R4, but you know, I just wanted to test it and see that, you know, make sure that the 2x was working absolutely fine on the lens as well. So it's just bizarre. I think he's just very unlucky that he's got a faulty adapter. He's even photographing through loads of flowers and stuff as well, so it just proves it is absolutely fine. Yeah, so I think his adapter is faulty, which is really annoying because you spend a lot of money on these things. I've had problems, many other people have problems. Sony's can be very, very slow at fixing problems, you know, and sometimes it's quite frustrating, but I think that you get that occasionally with every company out there. It doesn't matter if it's from a television to a car, you know, things can happen, and unfortunately it is what it is. But you know, hopefully this is a one-off. But like I said at the beginning of the video, if anybody has had any issues with these converters, like the 1.4 or the 2x not working with a lens particularly well, obviously there's a list that shows you what the lenses that work with the converters, which fit. So you know, if you've had any issues like communication errors, suddenly not working but then fine again, all the contacts were clean before use, so it definitely wasn't anything to do with grease spots or anything like that causing an issue. But like I say, it works on one lens absolutely fine. So on the 200 to 600 G lens, absolutely perfect. But as soon as it went onto Robert's 100 or 400 G Master, it was just pissing him off. And then I said, right, like I said in the beginning, come down, try my one. That narrows it down to not being the camera or the lens. It's got to be the converter. So it's definitely the converter. So he's now obviously in discussion, having it fixed or repaired or replaced, something like that. So hopefully that gets dealt with very quickly. It has warranty still because it's only 6 months old. But yeah, it's just one of those frustrating moments that, you know, you start questioning your own abilities. You know, is it in me it's actually using the camera properly, or is it just I'm being unlucky, or you know, that sort of stuff. So but yeah, it is what it is, and hopefully he can get it sorted very, very soon. So that'd be great to see once it is done, and hopefully I can get back with Robert at some point, go to a different location or something and try them out and see which one, if there is actually much difference in sharpness, because it would have been quite nice to actually use a 1.4 converter, because I don't have one. I haven't actually used one on my 100 or 400. Well, not one that works anyway. So that'd be quite interesting to see at some point. So anyway, that's another video at some point, hopefully. Anyway, don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well. And obviously, if you have had this issue before, it'd be really interesting to hear about your experiences or whatever. So please leave a comment below. I'll see you soon.